Oi, there's the Jolly Bee. We're going to be talking about you today. You're looking so cute and inviting, you cute little bee, you cute little happy bee. Oh, mayun buntag, amigos y amigas. This is Dan and Minnie's Journey. We are live from the apartment studio located in the heart of the Hug, Cebu, a mere few steps away from the happiest place on earth, Jollibee. Man, Minnie is doing her chores. Dan's sitting here pushing the buttons, pulling the levers, trying to make the show go. In the house is Daisy Lynn Castro, Anime Reyes. Knit Band is always welcome here. I have yet to ban him. Aileen Cruz official. Minnie Omido is here. Charmaine is in the chat. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. Elvie, greetings. Moelma, Crystal's Adventure, how exciting. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be around the world. This is Dan at Dan and Minnie's Journey. I got something to share today. I got this, Good Omen. I don't know if you could see it or not. That's 100 pesos. Someone was telling me that I need to boost this up a little bit due to inflation. It's quite possible that I'm going to have to give this a boost someday soon. I'll have to check out the budget, and we'll have to see if there's a little extra something in there to share with you all. I see Larry Lee is here. My partner in crime, partner in time, and resident grumpy old man. No, that's not true. That's not true. Larry would be the happiest by far person in the chat on almost every occasion. Yes, indeed. It's Larry Lee. Oh, never, ever miss his live stream. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Yeah. All right, so I got my cup of motivation here. You should be grabbing yours. I see Tim's here, Marianne, Daisy Lynn. And also, as a backup, I've got this. And you know why? If you're here in the Philippines right now, you know why you need the Gatorade to stay hydrated. Get those electrolytes in. It has been hot. Hot as hell would be an understatement. It's hotter than hell. But here's the thing I forgot to tell you. The most important thing in one of my lives, when we were talking about electrolytes, I forgot to mention that a very, very fine electrolyte is located a mere few steps from your front door, and that is the Buko juice. So Buko juice, coconut water, is a great source of electrolytes. And I meant to mention that. You don't need to go out there and spend 50 pesos on this when you can go out and spend 8 or 10 pesos and get yourself some buco juice, and that will replenish your electrolytes. And so stay hydrated. It almost caught up with me the other day. I started realizing that, first of all, beer and coffee dehydrate you, in case you don't know. This makes you go pee a lot. So you have to replenish what you're going to lose from drinking the coffee. So that means that you have to drink lots of water, but this ain't bad, because this has everything you need in it in order to square you away. But so does buco juice. So you want to drink buco. Larice is in the house, the Philippines' most eligible bachelorette and bride in waiting, and also a mighty fine person. Larry, that's
Hello,
a cool.
Sir Dan. How you doing?
Hey, that's cool. Your background is cool. I like it. I mean, it's nice and mysterious looking. It's very
Well,
mysterious looking.
how's that? Is that
Yeah.
better?
No. I wasn't critiquing. I was telling you how I liked it, and yeah, uh, it's better than the cracks and crevices that are behind me anyway. So anyway, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there have been not in this live stream, but there have been a lot of trolls showing up in people's live streams, and they're kind of hard to control. So you have my permission, if you detect a troll, anyone in here, to go ahead and put them in, make them disappear. If trolls show up today in this live stream, make them disappear. Don't even play with them. Don't put them in timeout. Just hide them. Who else do we have here? We've got Crystals. We've got Jaylyn. Man, everybody is here, or women, everybody is here. All right, so before we get started on talking about today's topic, Larry, of course, I want to talk about a few other things. So today's topic are things that happen when I was ordering fast food man meeting. Now, I was really disgusted by the whole thing, and so I decided I would come on and tell you what I think is going to be going on. I'm hearing a bird, I think. You're probably going to hear my AC in the background. I'm hearing a bird, but I'm also hearing noise coming from somewhere else. I'm not sure where it's coming from. But anyway, I'll figure it out. Yeah, we're gonna talk about fast food and the fast food future for the Philippines. And I hope I don't forget all that I wanted to talk about, because I didn't write it down. But before we get into that, Larry, let's talk about a couple of the videos that came out on YouTube. That some of them were tremendously spot on. In fact, Paul Old Dog New Tricks did what I think is one of the best videos that he has ever done, and that was where he talked about success. He always spins everything in a very, very positive way, which is one of the reasons why I appreciate going into his videos and catching up with Old Dog. He talked about the definition of a loser. Now, I'm clearing my throat because I'm guilty. I'm guilty of not using the correct definition of what a loser is.
Right,
And so Paul,
definition?
Paul's definition of a loser is somebody who doesn't get up in the morning and do something to change their life if it isn't going the direction that they think it ought to be going. In other words, he's saying, clear as a bell, that you have to take action. And so he was saying that he does everything in such a nice way. He talks about how in his chat that people criticize him and others by saying that, oh, you guys only end up in the Philippines because you're losers. You basically didn't make it in the States, and also you have a limited budget to live on and so you have to, in your retirement years, so you have to come to the Philippines. Well, but Paul made some really important points, and the most important points I would imagine had to do with the fact that people that he wasn't a loser in his particular case. He used himself as an example. He qualified just about everything. And oh, by the way, before I get started here, I just want to give the standard disclaimer. And the standard disclaimer is that don't listen or take to heart anything that Dan has to say during this YouTube presentation. It is purely for entertainment value and for opinion, and it's just I talk about things so that you can ponder them, think about them, and hopefully there's a positive aspect to the whole experience. So basically, he was saying he wasn't a loser in his working life. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. He worked hard. He earned money to keep the boat afloat. But then one day he just finally says, enough is enough. I'm tired of being on the hamster wheel. I just keep running and running and running, and it seems like nobody around me appreciates me. I mean, you've heard Paul talk about this before a couple of different times. So you know where I'm coming from. Folks, if you've never been in Paul's channel, Old Dog New Tricks, you need to go in there. He's like the Johnny Carson of the Philippines. So I made a statement. I said something like, I tried to get rid of losers out of my life as quickly as possible. But it's up to you how you defined a loser. And what I was talking about what I was speaking about were negatively thinking folks, people that are always complaining about in a negative way, that if any of the negativity gets on you, it's going to take a while to get it washed off. Once you realize that you've been drenched in negativity, you have to and people are negative in different ways. And I may give some examples. Nitban is agreeing. Paul's video was good. He knows how to talk. Yeah, he must have been a great salesperson. I agree. Totally a people person. He's got that persona, very much like Larry's, by the way, I'd have to say, where you can just sit down and have the fireside chat. So you sit down and you have, come on, sit a spell. Yeah, sit a spell. We're going to have a little sit down talk, fire burning in the fireplace in the background, the whole thing, right? So you sit there and you start, what important things will Paul share with us today? It's that sort of a thing. Yeah, negative people are losers, according to Nip, and that's kind of how I view it. But see, I throw these words out, and then I don't define what I'm talking about. And a lot of people here in the chat, they put these positive affirmations on Facebook, and they talk a lot about positivity and to keep the negativity to yourself. I'm not sure that a public declaration needs to be made on anybody's part, but maybe it does, because you would think that positivity, announcing that you just would prefer to have positive people around you, would be all that you need to do without bringing in specific examples of how people have drenched you in negative piles of crap. Well, does that make sense? Anyway,
I'm going to disagree just a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if I would call negative people losers, but I would call them downers. They try to bring you back down because, a person may be doing well, but he doesn't see himself that well. So he's, right. He may be doing better than myself or you, but for some reason, he's just a negative person. The glass is never half full; it's always half empty or lower. And so he may not be a loser, but he's someone you don't want around very much because you might take on that negative attitude yourself. You don't want
Oh,
to.
you've made some great points. I also would like to add that even spending time, even spending 1 second trying to convey to somebody that um, their negativity is impacting me in a negative way
Yeah,
is too much time spent on that person. So
yeah. Like I said,
so in other words, I wouldn't even tell you that you're spewing negativity. You just wouldn't hear from me anymore, most likely. I try and shoo you away because I'm all about. Now, how does that relate to making? How does that relate to making money? We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's see.
well,
He said that.
negative
So he
people
made
would.
some good points.
I'm gonna-
So when you retire, when you're retiring, you want a hassle-free retirement. I've noticed, there folks that come to the Philippines or Thailand and many other places to retire. They do have things in common. It may not be the income necessarily,
No,
and
it's
so
not
you
the
just
income.
can't. Yeah, it's not the income. It is the fact that they made the decision that they wanted to pursue a hassle-free retirement, and they actually saw that through to its fruition, its completion. They realized their dream. And that
Well,
is the most important thing that I can think of that everyone has in common. What are your thoughts on
you're
that?
going to have people. You're going to have people in those countries from the Western countries who are negative people. They may not stay long, but I mean, they're going to see, oh well, they don't have this, they don't have that. It's not Western for them, so they don't usually stay long. And who wants to be around somebody that all they're going to do is complain what they don't have? I mean, I have nowhere near what some people have, and I never will, and that's fine. What I have is satisfaction in that art. I'm going to do something. This is what I'm doing, and we've talked about it. And for me, whether I get out of this country or not, I hope to get out of here. My plan is to get out of here, so I'm working towards that goal. But the government may screw us over on that one. That will be out of my control, or my health may do it. But for someone that sits here in the states, and there's a lot of people here in the states that are going to complain about the government. They're going to complain about what's going on. They're going to say, "I hate what's going on in my country," and they won't make any moves to do anything, whether it's to leave, to change their attitude, whether it's to work to change the politics. Because some people, all they want to do is complain, and that, like I said, I like to complain. That's why I vote. And my dad always said, if you don't vote, you can't complain. Well, I like to bitch, so I vote. But I'm eventually going to vote with my feet, and beat boogie, somewhere else.
Mm.
But
They're having an interesting chat. They're having an interesting conversation in the chat. Crystal's just brought up this crab mentality
yeah,
that,
I see that.
yeah, and so that's an interesting thing, and we may have that. We may have that also here, not only in a public arena like YouTube, but as part of U.S. culture, as part of the American culture. I'm not
Oh
sure.
yeah, I,
I'm not
I
sure.
think there is to some degree. I think that's what the negative people are. They're, like I said, they're not satisfied, so they don't want somebody else to be satisfied.
Right, right.
So that's what I think of negative people. They're just satisfied and they're always complaining because they want everybody else to be miserable like they are. Because if you're complaining, if you're negative about everything, then you got to be miserable. You may have a good paying job. You may have a good income, but if you're miserable, you're miserable. And there's one of the posts I shared one time says, happy people, to be happy does not mean you have to have everything you want. You got to be happy with what you have. You got to be, you know, make good of what you got. And I think that's true. If you're really going to be happy, you need to be happy with what you have. Uh,
Well, you can be happy with what you have as you're accumulating wealth, my friend. That's what
yeah,
I
no. That's
remember.
what I'm saying. But what
Yeah,
I'm saying is,
I remember that. I remember that one, and that one. I ended up getting a pain somewhere, a pain in my ass when I saw that. I mean, because quite frankly, those affirmations are designed to keep you poor, not to move you up the ladder. But that is something different, a slight bit different than what I'm talking about here, I think.
well, like I said, I
Um,
mean, but what I'm saying is that if you can't be happy with what you have, it doesn't mean you can't strive for more.
that's true.
But if you're not happy with what you have and you're always striving, are you going to be happy with $1 more or one more day off? Or, you gotta,
Oh,
I'm
it's
trying
a
to,
good point. It's a good point. But I think what I was critiquing about that is the public affirmation that you're okay with being where you're at, and that isn't what it was intended to be. I think is what you're
uh,
saying.
yeah, like I said, to be happy doesn't mean you're satisfied.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's a good point. So now here's the other thing. Sounds like Nipman saw this video and he liked it also. Okay, so um, the other thing is that he was pointing out that he reinvented himself. So how, honestly, without saying it, I started thinking, without him saying it anyway, I started thinking um, that a person can reinvent themselves and be financially successful at any age. And so, but the loser, in my definition, uh, being the same as Paul's or similar to Paul's, is one who never tries and or uh, Paul had mentioned this, has never been successful, but success is relative. And so, success is relative. Like you were saying, it's in your own mind.
Well, like,
It's how you define success. For example, you can define as being financially successful, but you could also have a successful career, be successful in education, be successful in raising a family, being successful in so many different areas. That's how you measure it.
being
But
happy with
anyway,
what you do.
Paul is the monument, the poster child of successful human being in general, also successful senior. So I started thinking about those people who became uber rich for a period of time anyway in their what I'll call second lives. It happened later on in their
Yeah,
journey. And one of them, of course, the number one that's always used as an example would be Colonel Sanders.
yeah.
I would say famous Amos would be another.
Okay. I
Uh,
didn't know how old he was when he got his,
Paul
payoff.
Paul at Old Dog New Tricks.
Yeah.
Stan
How about
Lee. How about
don't
Stan Lee, who created the comic strip, the Fantastic Four, at age 39?
yeah. Well,
Martha
that's not.
Stewart was older when she made her first $1 billion.
How about Bud Brown?
Yeah, but oh yeah, Bud Brown, James Dyson, who is the inventor of that whirligig vacuum, who
Yeah,
everybody just laughed at him.
yeah.
Basically, they just laughed at him, saying, "Yeah,
The nice vacuum cleaner. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's okay. That's nice of you, but that's a nice gadget, Paul. I got things to do." And he became a multi-bazillionaire. But a lot of people do it. A lot of people do it, and there's no better example than Old Dog New Tricks. So you want to learn some life lessons. Of course, sometimes he panders, but I forgive him for pandering because We all can do that from time to time. It's you and me. Oh, I got to tell another story. So wait, so that's one. All right, the other one. Let's see. Everything that caught my attention. I think I got two or three. Oh, Rebuti, Rebuti. Oh my goodness gracious! You know, I was laughing so hard when she was talking about this. So she's talking about her religion and how she doesn't eat pork. It's based on religious belief, and how she has all of her friends coming to her trying to convince her, you know, that she's missing out. You know, she's missing out on things in life because she doesn't do certain things based on her religion. But now, so she was talking about how they try like hell to convince her, you know, that she should be changing her ways because she's missing out on all this fun stuff. And she was explaining that how difficult it is to articulate to her friends that she doesn't miss what she has not tried.
That's
And
true.
so it's her religious belief that is the basis for her decision not to eat certain foods. And so I really, but she said it also may be the basis for why men run like hell from her and she can't formulate a permanent relationship, long distance or otherwise. I was howling laughing. You know something? The world is changing a lot. It's changing fast. And I would not, and one of the things is that I started thinking about was that it wouldn't have any bearing at all if I were out there and I were on the market. It would not have any bearing at all on whether the relationship
As long as she
moves
didn't get
forward or
upset
not.
that I ate the pork.
Yeah, exactly. But I would have been willing to change also. In other words, I really enjoyed eating the pork, eating the pig.
Yeah. Well,
But
like I said, I mean,
I don't necessarily live or die based on having to have a pulled pork sandwich at lechon. I'm not in love with
what I'm saying is, hey,
the
Jack,
crispy outer chicharron of the pork. You know, that's the
yeah,
whole thing.
what I'm saying is, though, if you're not already starting to date her, all right, and let's say, she tells you up front, which I'm sure she probably does, I do not eat pork. Well, I happen to like pork. So I would
Hmm.
ask, will it bother you if I did? And if she said, no, you can't eat this or this or this because I don't like it, I'm not going out with her. I'm sorry.
Right.
uh,
I'm
I
not
mean,
going to let
she's
a
a very,
pig. I'm not going to
yeah.
let a pig come between me and a fine
But what I'm saying
woman
is,
like her beauty.
but she's not your woman yet. Is what I'm saying.
Right, Jack. I'm not letting a pig come between us.
Like I said, no, she's not your woman yet. You haven't even dated. So now she's telling you what you can and cannot eat, and you haven't even had your first date yet.
No, she's saying what she can't, what she's not
But
going
I'm
to
just saying,
eat.
though, I would ask before we went on a date if she tells me, hey, wherever we go, they got to have something besides this because I do not eat that because of my religion.
Right.
Then I would ask, what if I have it? Because
Eight ABCMs in the house.
I dated a girl who was allergic to alcohol.
Yeah.
Very good looking woman. The only
Yeah.
thing was I had to abstain from alcohol for 24 hours so it wouldn't be on my breath or lips or anything to make her
Yeah.
feel safe. Which I was willing to do that because I didn't drink that much anyway. So that like, all right, we go for a while when we don't see each other. So if I want to drink when I know I'm not going to see her for a day or two or a week, that's when I have my drinks. If I know we're going to be getting together, all right, let's say, all right, it's Friday. We're going out this weekend, right? I wouldn't have had anything after Thursday. And then after Monday, let's say, because we live separately, which we did, close enough that we could go there on the weekends, but not during the week. So on Monday, when I get off work, if I want to go have a drink, I'm going to go have a drink. But she knew that. I just did not drink before I went out with her. So, which meant if it did work out, I'd probably have to quit drinking altogether. That didn't work out. But I was,
Hey, I got you. Hey, by the way, changing the subject for a moment. So that bubblegum video that I posted in my shorts, which one of you was responsible for driving that thing crazy before YouTube shut it down? Which one
I
of
don't know,
you
but I did watch it.
where it was getting something like 100 views a minute or something? I think it was ABCM that did it. I think she shared it out to her 48 or 50,000 subscribers, and it ended up hitting the,
It
it
might have been.
started
I
going
was at work when I
viral.
spotted it,
Because
so I don't.
I did get a message. I was telling you a couple of times I've gotten a message from YouTube. You know how they send those little quips out, and so I get a message that says, "Whoa!" It goes like this, "Whoa!" What's that all about? It's a bot. It's a bot they send out. When you reach a certain milestone, and so I don't know. I'm suspicious about. Suspicious. It might have been ABCM or somebody in the chat here caused it to blow up. I hope you didn't do anything nefarious. I hope it was all legit. Because man, Minnie's eyes were like getting real big looking at the every minute we were checking it was boom, 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 boom. And then at 2.2K it shut down. And then when I go to my analytics, it says, first 12 hours, 2.2K. And I was like, is that all that was worth?
That's better than anyone I put up. I got over 1,000
So,
a couple of times, but not like that.
even I am a little bit suspicious because I'm not that creative of a human being.
I got one going up tonight. It's going to be about a minute long. When I got home from work, they were out there working on the pavement in the parking area in front of my apartment. So I did a quick short one, and then I did a longer one, which is going to go out Sunday night my time, Monday afternoon your guys' time. So
wrapping up on my thought about Rebuty. She was saying that any answer what she was telling, she said what is interesting about herself is that she has to argue with them, even though she knows it's an argument that cannot be won. But yet, she makes statements, and sometimes the statements are passive aggressive statements. And yet, at the end of all this, they remain friends. She remains good friends with them. And then she pointed out, and I think this was a little bit passive aggressive when she started talking about how her friends will come to her for advice on things. So I think that statement was a little bit passive aggressive. But anyway, you guys need to go see that video. And by the way, before I move on to my next idea that I had, before we get rolling into the whole fast food, slow food thing, and me telling you all what happened, I wanted to talk about Sunshine Shoulders. So here's the surprise. Mr. Calvin is going to be doing a meet and greet this Thursday here in Cebu, only about 10 steps from where we're staying. And so I was just thinking to myself, oh, Calvin's in town. I was thinking to myself, now I was talking to Matt Minnie, should we be going to that meet and greet? But here's the thing, the meet and greet is happening at a place that I think I shared the 29-cent beer story. Did I share that story with you, Larry? Yeah. So we go
about 2
yeah.
weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, and so it's at that place. It's at Philly Sports Bar, and the girls were out there last night because Minnie and I, we were across the street in a what do they call that? A local dive. We weren't in one of the bikini bars. We were throwing back a couple of beers in the local dive, which is across the street from Philly's Sports Bar and Grill. And the girls were out there with them signs, 29-cent beers, which does not exist over there. I mean, I don't even know how you get it because I asked them 2 or 3 times, how do I get a 29-cent beer? Well, you got to every person I asked, every girl holding the sign gave me a different answer. So I go, oh, so this thing's a scam basically to get people in here so they'll buy you ladies' drinks. Yes, sir. You get it. So anyway, yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it too much, So, but now they're having the meet and greet Thursday at 5 p.m. over at Philly's Bar and Grill, and I don't know if I should even be going over there showing up. Man, Minnie is okay with it. She's saying, "Oh, whatever you decide, I'm okay with." Ah, my goodness gracious. Anyway, that's that on that one. So, Rebuty.
Yeah, but you get to meet your buddy. The one I shouldn't say your buddy, but the
Well,
guy
he's not exactly
you like.
my buddy.
That's what I said. I shouldn't say your buddy, but
I
one
mean,
of the
I don't know
ones
what
you
kind of
like.
conversation we would have. Are we going to talk about passport bros? Are we going to talk about the sweet spot budget? Are we going to talk about how things are changing fast in the Philippines? I mean, probably a bazillion people will show up, and I won't even get a chance to get up to bat to even say hello. But it would be. I suppose it would be nice to get a selfie with a man, talk to him about how gracious that was of him. I could tell him how gracious it was of him to offer up his guest house to a regular guy when Mark over there at the Thornton Yacht Company wouldn't give him the time or day after saying that he was going to interview him. I mean, I might say something like that, but then again, he'd be hearing something that he hears 100 times a day. How gracious of an individual, how giving and loving and caring he is. What's one more going up there saying stuff like that to him? Des is in the house.
Yeah,
Hi, Des. Jack is on board in front of us. Jack and
Jill?
Sir Luke did a nice thing, giving away some ducats the other day with the help of Pacquiao Mertz. That's a nice thing to do. Let's see. I got another one. All right.
Mic off.
Yeah, I got another one.
Here you go, Jack. It's on.
Yeah, I got another one. Philippine Information Channel. All right, so tax code. Who pays taxes and who doesn't? Now, really what this is all about, what Steve was talking about in this one was who has to pay taxes and who don't. And then he gives a tax code. It talks about money earned and derived from inside the Philippines is taxable. So, every time we start talking about tax code, right, I'm reminded of how I had to boot, what's his name, Sean off the channel that one time because he wouldn't shut the hell up about federal tax code. Now I laugh about it now, but the whole thing is that I make no apologies. I'm not interested in hearing crap like this. But the truth be told, federal taxes started off as being a volunteer tax program. And so I figured that the Philippine Constitution and different things, some of these laws, they're patterned after U.S. Constitution, U.S. laws. Leonard's here. Oh, there, I got you.
Leonard.
Hi, Leonard. So,
Jeff, Larry,
hey, what's going on? Hey, so Steve talked about this tax code, right? And he lays it out there. He says it's as clear as a bell for him. And I appreciated that this time Steve says, don't do anything that I tell you. and I'm telling you right now, my own disclaimer, don't do anything that I tell you.
Hey,
this is only for entertainment purposes. Yeah.
Crystals.
What? Go ahead. Larice.
I'm just saying hi to people.
Oh, Larice. Hey, Larice.
Tim,
God, there was something I wanted to say to Larice now, and I can't think of what it was. All right. I'll save that for later. I'm having one of them moments. Okay, Elvie's in the background. Elvie, go grind it out. Go grind it out, and don't be such a cockroach, Elvie. Don't be such a cockroach. Go grind it out. Yeah, stop complaining, girl. Stop complaining. All right.
Anna May, how are you? And Tim?
Anna May is here. Anna May, what do you say? What's it going to be today?
Charmaine, Eileen, Cruz.
Yeah, don't squeeze the Charmaine. All right.
Sorry, Charmaine. That was there's a commercial.
An old
Yeah.
It says,
Yeah.
don't squeeze the Charmin, not Charmaine. So it's a
Yeah,
little
exactly.
funny.
I thought it was funny just the same. All right, so now Philippine
Oh, yeah,
info
well,
channel.
that's right. I thought it was funny.
So
Hey,
Philippine,
Peter, how you
Steve was
doing, man?
talking about Peter of Barbarians here. Steve was
Peter.
talking about tax code, and I think he's implying that as it relates to him being a vlogger, and I've talked about this before. I said I voluntarily demonetized my channel because I don't want to have to deal with figuring out whether I'm violating the law. It's, for example, in Thailand, you're not. In Thailand, they have a specific tax rule, and it basically says, by the way, if you're a YouTube vlogger, you don't have to pay taxes in Thailand, period. Now, it can't be any more clear than that. But now in the Philippines, they say income derived inside the Philippines is taxable. And so if you make this assumption that income that you're doing as a YouTube vlogger on the Philippines is not taxable because it's not derived from the Philippines, this is my humble opinion, you wouldn't be able to sell that argument to me. And the reason why you wouldn't be able to sell the argument to me is because, and this is why it's so complicated, is because, one, you have to define working. What is working? You have to define if your visa allows you to work. And Steve was saying that the Bureau of Immigration would back him on this taxation argument. But the way that I view it, and the way that I viewed it way before Steve's video on this subject, is that you would have to back out the AdSense revenue that was derived specifically from the Philippines, and the percentage of that anyway, and that would become the taxable income. So ads directed towards the Philippines that played in the Philippines for which you were the benefit of income, once you got by those other factors of whether you were allowed to work or not, and if you answer yes, I'm allowed to work, then you would pay taxes on the revenue generated by those ads. And so it's too complicated. So instead I started thinking about this. I said, well, wait, I could pay taxes on all the income earned, because I wouldn't want to take the time. It's too complicated to figure out the math unless YouTube is willing to help you do it, or AdSense. It'll show you a certain percentage of income was derived from ads played in the Philippines. If they gave you the number, then boom, you're good to go. YouTube earnings from Philippines is you earn over 250,000 pesos per year. If you earn over 250,000 pesos per year. Okay, I didn't see that tax code. But anyway, Steve didn't mention it either. All right. It's too complicated of an issue. So, and then I started thinking about, and also the other point for me, and the difference is his ads may be derived from the United States mostly, but mine are mostly, or they were prior to being demonetized, 90%. Well, it wasn't 90, it was in the high 80s, so were derived from the Philippines. So, all right, so putting that one aside, so I don't know. So in that case, you do what Steve says, and whatever it is that you decide is what you do. You probably won't get in trouble for it, I'm thinking. That's kind of what I'm thinking in a general sense. And if Tim says 250,000 pesos a year is a pretty big number, and so I would never reach that, I'm sure. Abby's here. Hi, Abby.
I'd be worried about the states wanting to come after my money if I was in your.
Well, you'd have to file for taxes in the state, and also you'd have to file for federal taxes on money that you earn. I mean, it's just too complicated. It's too complicated. It's a nightmare almost. And there's not enough money there to make it worth trying to figure everything out. There just isn't enough money involved. I mean, if you were doing 5,000 a month like regular guy is, then of course you're going to figure it out. You want the $5,000. You're going to go see the tax man. You're going to go see the internal. You're going to go see the revenues at the Philippines and figure it all out. And you're going to go see immigration and make sure you're not going to get in any kind of trouble. I mean, because you're talking about basically $5,000 that's in play.
Yeah, and that's almost your year's rent for a lot of.
I mean, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of dough.
Yep.
So you wouldn't leave that on the table. No way, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't.
All right, now another thing caught my attention. So this is for you guys. I had said this is a prediction that's coming true. This is a prediction I made a long time ago. I had said that don't be surprised. I said if airlines start changing seat configurations so they can convert most of their planes over to premium economy. Do you remember when I said that, Larry?
Yeah.
And so now Forbes is reporting the airlines that are talking about changing their seat configurations over to premium economy so they could charge more money for that seat.
Yeah.
So
what's the actual difference?
Like I said,
in terms of service?
No, what's the difference between economy and premium economy as far
2
as
inches? 2 inches? Well, but Leonard, 2 inches would have changed your life, brother.
Yeah.
You're only talking about 2 inches, but it's a lot. It's all relative as to where you need that 2 inches.
In seating room, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It doesn't seem like it, but in actual application, it's a lot.
Like I said, and they'll only lose a few seats, but with the difference in price between the two seating arrangements, they will more than make up whatever. They might lose like one row of seats all the way across, 2 at the most.
So Nitban is saying, I can't pass this up, and this is important. Nitban was saying I had a handyman come to my house for something. He's Russian, speaks very little English, and said that he came to the United States through San Ysidro border from Mexico, along with his kid. Well, the reason why I wanted to chime in a little bit about immigrants from Eastern Europe, they're showing up all over the world, wherever they can run.
Yep.
Wherever you can run. Now, Steve, as part of a video, Steve said this reminds me of something that Steve said. Steve said that one reason why he likes Tres Monteros is because it's within bail. He said it's within bail distance of the airport. That surprised me. In case things get heated up,
and he has to
jump on a plane in case you need to leave in a hurry. Of course, I don't know what he was referring to, but maybe if you had a loved one pass away or you had something happen where you had to get home real quickly, it's nice to be near an airport. It's the reason why Manny and I decided to come to Cebu, so we could be here half the time.
Yeah.
I would, for me,
Peter's killing me with his
part of it. But I think not the hotel, listen to me. The hospital would be as important to me as the airport. Because when the older you get, the more a hospital means. At least I think so. So you got some nice hospitals there in Cebu, where in Bye you might have a serviceable hospital, but it's not of the same quality as what you have in Cebu. It will do for minor things, is what I'm saying. But something major may not be up to standard. And that's something, like I said, when I move over, that's something I'm going to have to take into consideration because everybody knows I'll hit 70 this year.
Michelle is in the house.
Yeah, Michelle's been here for a little bit.
Hey, Michelle.
Okay, so Nitban said he requested political asylum at the U.S. border. And of course, the current policies are to let him in.
Yeah. And
All
then
right, let's see. What's next on the list? I think
but the
I think
nice,
that's about it. Oh, now talking about fast food, right?
yeah, the fast food's next, but they'll get back to the Russian. At least he did it at the border. I mean,
Yeah, and the
some of
other
them are
point,
coming in and then doing it after they're in country. I mean, they may be in New York or somewhere else before they even talk to anybody. At least he did it at the border, which I
Tim.
find
Yes,
neat.
there are plans, Tim. Tim, we'll be heading home. We'll be heading back to Los Angeles to visit my mom in October.
Okay,
And
that
she
means I'll
should
come
be,
over in October, and I'll just miss you.
yeah, October. And also, oh, one more story I wanted to share. Okay, this is
That might
interesting.
be when I get there.
I hope Tox doesn't mind me sharing the story. It sort of made me. I felt stupid. Again, once again, I want to share this. I don't know if you guys know this or not. It was interesting. It's an interesting tidbit. So I was chatting with Tox on one of her live streams, and she was sitting there eating some Hershey's Candy Kisses, and I was saying, and right away I saw that that's something the chocolate that she enjoys, and she was talking to me about American chocolate. And I said, you know what, Tox, I'm going to get you some American chocolate. I'm gonna order it on Amazon right now, and I'm going to send it to you. And she was so thrilled, right? She said, oh, you're going to do that for me? I said, sure, I'm going to do it right now. So I go onto Amazon, and guess what I find out? You can't ship American chocolate to the Philippines. And then, of course, you know me, I had to go find out the reason why. And I was able to do it, right? What happened was Hershey, and in particular, it's Hershey's chocolate we're talking about. But generally speaking, there's a ban on American chocolate in the Philippines.
Oh, I didn't
Not a
know that.
ban, but it's an export. It's one of those export items that they tax the crap out of. And I think what happened was this. I don't know for sure, but after I did my research, I discovered that the Hershey Company had cut a deal with the country of Malaysia. And that deal involves them setting up a manufacturing facility, giving them incentives to do so. They employ 200 people, 200 Malaysians in this factory in Malaysia. And Hershey's manufactures 5 products there that are shipped throughout Southeast Asia. And part of the agreement was they could not distribute American chocolate in Southeast Asia that were any one of those 5 Hershey products. And the product that that Tox happened to be munching on was one of them, one of the 5. So Hershey
Yeah,
bar, yeah,
I got a
Hershey
question.
bars,
Let's say I
Hershey
sent it to
bar,
her. Could I
Hershey
send
bar
it?
with. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I thought about this. Maybe I could ask Leonard or Larry or Jack or somebody to do it. And so, because I want to fulfill my promise to her that I would get it over there. But to the rescue, is Mike at Hey Joe, who sent me an email. It was very, very timely, saying, "Hey, the countdown is happening, and we're going to be there in Bye Bye City soon." I go, "Is there anything that you need?" And so I said, "Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, there is. Can you mule over a couple of bags of Hershey Kisses with almonds?" And so he said and I explained to him what was going on, that they won't allow it to come into commercially, or wholesale. They won't allow it to be distributed that says made in America. It can't be. And the big thing here is you get chocolate from America, you're like the king. You're like the king of the hill. When Man Minnie and I came over here, we brought 2 or 3 boxes, large LBC Balikbayan boxes filled with Hershey's chocolate.
I'll tell
And
you
it
something
went
else you
so
brought that.
it went so fast.
I'll tell you something else you brought that made people think of you as generous.
What's
Spam.
that?
That's
Oh yeah,
another.
spam. We brought tons of spam, tons of them. It's different. All I could say is it's different here than it is in
But they
other
still
countries.
like that spam, didn't they?
It's not the same. Doesn't taste the same. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
So spam, and there was something else. What else, honey? What else? Chocolate, spam. What else was the big thing that people like here?
The toothpaste.
Toothpaste and the green soap, Irish Spring.
Irish Spring.
Yeah, the Irish Spring is not the same Irish Spring either. It's amazing. I don't know why. I just don't know what it is. I don't know if it's knockoff Irish Spring or what it is.
All right. Now
That it's fake. Minnie says it's fake. It's not the
Right.
real. It's not the real
I got a
deal.
question for you now. Do they prefer
Yeah.
the American Irish Spring or the one in the Philippines? Or do they prefer the American Spam or the one in the Philippines? Which one do they prefer?
The American Spam.
Okay.
Anything that has a. It's simply because they are hungry, if you'll pardon the pun, for American goods here. Yeah.
And I just wondered. I mean, because you said they didn't taste the same, so if you're used to what you have there, they may not like the Spam from here.
Right.
So,
Right.
good.
So anyway, Mike at Hey Joe saving the day for me by bringing it over, and man, Minnie and I will be headed back. I think Mike. I think him and his wife are getting there before we return back to Bye Bye. I think that we're going to be heading out maybe the first week of May. So I think he'll be there by then, but we'll catch up with him. He's heading over to the Dunkin'. He's probably going to hook up with Brent and some of the other folks. Yeah. Yeah.
Laszlo?
Yeah, you know Brent from
he's in all kinds of chats.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I
You're
see
talking
him.
about Brent Laszlo. Yeah,
I run into him all over.
I don't
Yeah.
know the guy, but I do know him from the chats.
Yeah.
I've never been in a panel with him, so I don't know what he looks like. But
He's a young-looking guy.
Is he?
Yeah,
So I've seen him in a lot of chats. He's in a lot of chats.
he's a young.
Yeah.
All right, so now I talked about the airlines. I think that's a good segue into talking about the fast food dilemma. So here's what happens. So now the Jollibee is just like outside our front door to the right. I mean, so we go down the elevator, you go out past the 7-Eleven, and you look to the right, and boom, there's the Jollibee. And so, we're in Jollibee a lot. So I noticed this happening before, and I don't know if I mentioned it. I probably mentioned it to you guys. I have a few more thoughts to share on it. Here's what happened. So we go up there, and we order breakfast, and the cashier says something to Ma'am Minnie like, it's going to be about a 15-minute wait. Is that okay, ma'am? So I hear this, right? I hear this conversation. I'm like, what the? I turn around and I'm looking kind of like, what the hell? What do you mean it's going to be? It doesn't say slow food on the sign. It says fast food, It's Jollibee. So I look up. I'm looking around because before opening my mouth, I want to observe to see what's going on. So actually what ended up happening after that is I actually walked upstairs to the sitting area upstairs because there weren't any available seats. After about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I thought Ma'am Minnie had been kidnapped because no one returned with the food. She didn't come with the food. So I had to go downstairs to see what had happened. And she was sitting there and she had this look on her face. I'm not sure. It was just sort of deadpan. Sort of this deadpan look. I'm saying, what are you doing sitting here, hon? She goes, the food isn't up yet. So I look over and said, the food isn't up? Like, what the hell kind of operation are you guys running around here? So I look around. That's when it gets when I realize that there's a parade of Grab drivers And these guys are picking up orders one by one. There's like a whole parade of them. There had to have been about 6, 8, 10, or 12. And they're sitting there in their uniforms. In fact, I took 4 of them volunteered to let me take their pictures. So I got a picture of 4 of them for my my thumbnail. So the guys are sitting there. They got a great big smile on their face because they've never made more money in their life. They're picking up orders. They're coming back. Blah blah blah. Come to find out. So I look over in the menu and I notice that the full menu is available. Problem number 1, right? It was only breakfast time. It was breakfast time, but they had the full menu up. So I'm looking around, I'm going, okay, so we order breakfast and they have the full menu. Do you see how complicated this could be from a production standpoint? So Grab is getting priority orders. So I started pondering. Here's Dan, pondering. What could be going on here? Because operationally, this is what interests me. I'm a little pissed because I'm not getting my food. But more interesting is not the fact that I'm not getting my food. It is why am I not getting my food? What is going on here is I'm more curious about that than anything else. Leonard Lund is doing Brady Bunch. Yes, we have a man named Brady.
Raising 3 boys of his own.
So anyway, I mean, most people wouldn't think about this. They just say, hey, I'm getting the hell out of here. Give me my money back. I'm going next door to McDonald's. But I'm curious. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. I started thinking, if they're making, I know what happened. You know, if you go into McDonald's, they restrict the period of times in a day to just breakfast until 10:30.
Yeah.
And they have 4 rice meal breakfast dishes that they've added to the breakfast menu. But basically, you can only get breakfast if you go into McDonald's. And so everybody is humping. When I went to McDonald's the next day, I noticed that everybody is humping. But I also noticed something else. There's no Grab people or Panda Express people standing there waiting for orders. So I'm thinking to myself, McDonald's has their crap together. They know they want to serve the person as they come through the front door and they limit their menu to the breakfast menu so that they can increase productivity. And Jollibee figures that because they're offering up a Grab menu 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that they might as well make that menu available to everybody all hours of the day through the retail stores. That's the conclusion that I come to. Right? So productivity is screwed up because the whole breakfast setup is different than the lunch and dinner setup. So I look back there, they're literally stepping over each other, trying to get the meals out for the people in the front. But Grab is taking priority, and this is what catches my attention more than anything else. It's the fact that Grab is getting priority over the people that are walking through the door. That would mean that has to be their more profitable segment. So Minnie, she's looking at me during all of this, and she's having her own thoughts about this, going, I don't understand why they do it this way. She says, why don't they just have one separate Jollibee where all the Grab drivers go to pick up their Grab orders? Well, as you know, they franchise these. They franchise the Jollibees out. And so if you do it that way, if you create a whole new Jollibee in a warehouse someplace, and you're taking the business away from the franchisees that are in those areas for where the Grab orders are coming in. So they're gonna lose out on retail sales and the profit that's a result of those retail sales. what ends up happening? Everything gets all bogged down. Dan does not get his breakfast and he becomes grouchy. And I start yelling at the manager saying, you guys are major league effed up over here. You can't get stuff out in a half hour. Something as simple as pancake and an egg on top, or pancake and sausage and a chicken rice meal. I said, you can't get it out in a half hour. Now, I had been observing also a gal who'd been there longer than we had been there. She's standing there like forever, and she's getting really irritated that she has to take a back seat, if you will, to the Grab drivers. So I take it one step further. So eventually she gets her meal and she's on her way, but she was pissed. You can imagine. Time out. She's not a foreigner. She's a Filipina. You understand how significant this is? That a Filipina, the most patient cultural trait in the world, is getting pissed because she had to stand there and wait for this meal to come out. And she was ordering hella stuff. She was maybe she was from the office and they were putting together a meeting. She had buckets of chicken. She was spending some money. She was standing there going, what the hell is going on here? So this is significant, right? So now,
Hey,
this
Sammy.
is a significant development for me, because I started thinking, okay, they're servicing Grab before they're servicing the customers. I go over to McDonald's. They're serving they're serving the customers first, and then they're keeping the menu limited to just breakfast up until 10:30. All right. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? These cultural changes, these events in doing business.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it'll take to get adjusted to the cultural differences. Hey, Robert, a lot of it's going to depend on how often you interact
Robert.
with that situation. So if you don't go out to eat a lot, it's going to take longer. And to tell you that if you're there long enough, Bud Brown did a video here recently, and he was talking about how he was surprised that he had culture shock when he went back to the States.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, because they'd been in the Philippines for about 12 years, and they got so adjusted to it when they went back to the States, it just really caught him off guard,
Mm-hmm.
and it took him a while to adjust to, having everything you want, almost,
Right.
and
I used to do food delivery for what is it? One is it Lyft and no, it was Uber Eats. And
Yeah.
Uber Eats.
In some restaurants, there's a separate line for drivers.
Well, now I go to there's it's a fast food place. It's called, it's one of the burger joints. Not Smash Burger, not In-N-Out's the other one. I can't think of the name right now. But when you go to there,
Out and in.
you go in. What is it? But anyway, you go there and you put your order in, and somebody else orders. And the same thing with the sub place I go to. They'll fix your order when it comes in, and they'll fix it. They don't prioritize the food drivers. Their orders, when the guy calls it in, that's when they start their order. But if you order before that guy, you get your food done first. It's like boom, boom, boom. Now, they may jump ahead of some of the people in line, but if you're at the counter, it's not like everybody's jumping in front of you, because the guy at the counter is going to take your order and then he's going to start doing your order.
Slow food,
Five
Nitban.
Guys is the place I'm trying to think of. Five Guys.
Slow food is the food you can't get fast, Nitban.
You know, I'm going to lie to you here. You know what I thought? What you meant by fast food and slow food?
Yeah,
Fast food, the fast food joints. You know,
yeah.
hamburger joints. Slow food, cooking at home. That's what I was thinking. All right, Sammy, if you're leaving, bye. Take care now.
Oh, take care, Sammy.
Nice to stop in.
Bye, Sammy. Yeah. So, anyway, so well, also they train customers. So Abby was saying in here in the chat, Abby's saying, yeah, McDonald's sticks to their time frames for breakfast, so that they don't have any problem getting the stuff hammered out, getting the stuff out.
And they do the same thing here in the States. Breakfast up to either 10:30 or 11, depends on the fast food place you go to. And then it's lunch after that.
Right.
And so, like you said, it makes the operation run much smoother, even if they got Grab coming in or Food Dash or whatever, Grubhub, whatever's coming in, it's it's the same kind of food. So it's not like I said, here in the States, at least the places I go to, it's first come, first call. You don't wait. Well,
Right.
I think it's a little smoother operation if you do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that they're training us, though. My bottom line on the thought, my bottom line on it is that they're training. Jollibee is training you for something, and they're either training you to use Grab because they're making more money when you order through Grab. That could be a possibility. Yeah. Another possibility could be they are going to, as Man Mini suggested, centralize the ordering of the fast food. I talked about it before. I mean, what makes sense to me is that you have a huge warehouse with a common kitchen, and you have 4 or 5 different franchises all operating out of that kitchen. So you have Jollibee, McDonald's, In-N-Out Burger. You have all these different franchises. They're sharing a centralized kitchen, and you don't have to have a retail location, and you just direct those Grab drivers there for basically the wholesale production of fast food for delivery. That's sort of my thought.
Don't
Yeah.
give
So
them any
now-
ideas.
Don't give them any ideas.
Well, actually, what he suggested that you have a centralized location for food to be delivered from would be
Right.
bad. But like you said earlier, Dan, that would upset some of the franchise owners because now you're taking that.
But I think there's a way to handle it. And it would be by delivery area. So anybody who's ordering through the central warehouse, it would be based on who gets to share profit in that is where the meal ends up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's where the meal ends up. So if it's in their territory of that store, because they sell franchise agreements, right? They have franchise agreements. So this Jollibee here, they have territorial exclusivity for a certain area. And so I'm not talking about closing down retail stores. I'm talking about adding a centralized kitchen where all the delivery
Well,
stuff.
I understood that. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that you would cut into their profit by
Right.
taking the delivery away from them.
Yeah, no, I don't think they could get away with that, but I think they could get away with a shared profit type of deal where if it ends up in their delivery location. Okay, so now this is kind of fun. This is kind of fun to think about. So I was sitting here pondering, I was talking to myself, like I usually do. I was thinking, hey, what would have happened had I ordered through Grab and had the meal delivered to me at Jollibee? Well, it's a must try. It is a must
I
try.
agree with you.
It'd be interesting, but it
Why I'm
probably wouldn't
laughing?
deliver.
Yeah.
Why I'm laughing
Yeah.
is, could you imagine you sitting there, and the guy picks up your food, turns around, walks over, and hands it to you?
Yeah, I would have said
And you walk in.
he would have
you
been
say,
looking around. can you imagine the confusion on the Grab driver's app? You know, so he'd be looking around. He'd get the meal. He'd be looking around. Be looking, and I'll tap him on the shoulder, saying, I would even give him a tip for delivering it. I would even tip him.
Yeah, Dan. The best part though is you walk in with somebody else that's going to order their food through the counter,
Yeah.
and then you order your food through Grab, and see who gets it first. And then that guy
Right.
you both sat down, and your food's brought over by Grab. That would be.
You know, I'm going to have to do it if it lets me do it.
You'd have to video that.
You're going to have
Yeah.
Mammy video that, or video Mammy gets the food. I mean, I think
Okay,
that would
so
be an interesting video.
it's hilarious. The whole food thing here in the Philippines, it just puzzles me. But then it's exciting in this way. It excites me from this way, is that because they have limitations in infrastructure, they have bypassed certain things that we had to go through in the States. So they just leap to the next level. And so this whole food delivery thing is very, very exciting because they don't have to go through, you know, stages of or cycles in order to realize that people don't want to get off their butts anymore. They can't get off their butts anymore to go down to the local McDonald's in order to get food. So they just stepped over having to build useless retail locations everywhere except where needed. They're going to save themselves all kinds of money because everyone knows they have these Grab drivers and or Panda or whatever it is. All they have to do is call them up, order the food, and boom, it's delivered straight to their location within minutes. And so I'm thinking this has something to do with it. So this particular Jollibee knows that you have to get from order to house under contract by a certain time with Grab. I'm sure. I'm like 99.9% sure that's what this is all about.
I'm sure that's part of the contract.
So they're training the customer not to come in the store. And so if you've noticed in the States, they're closing a lot of these huge McDonald's down. They've closed the front lobby areas because they realize it costs them money to keep them open.
Well, what a lot of them doing here in the States is they're going to that self-service. You walk up and punch it in.
Well, yeah, they're using the kiosk to order.
They got this here. They got it here.
That's more prevalent, I think, than Grab. Especially if you're talking anything but lunch. Lunchtime, you get a lot of people who order that way because they're at work and they only get like a half hour. So you order the food, it's delivered to you. Now
yeah, Mammy is saying
there's a ton of it being delivered with Uber Eats.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though, it's because it saves you the time of when you only have. Some companies only give people 20 minutes. Some give you a half hour. But if you only got 20 minutes and you got to go get your food, wait in line, come back, it doesn't leave you a lot of time to eat it. I've worked at a place where I only had 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And,
I guess I'm spoiled. I usually had hours, an hour lunch.
I had 20 minutes to a half an hour is normally my lunchtime.
Yeah.
And so I took my lunch in, because especially when I had 20
I would have
minutes,
too if that had been the case.
I don't want to go out and get something, spend 10 minutes getting it, and then I got to eat it in 10 minutes. And that's if I went to the closest place to where I work.
Yeah.
So now with this food delivery, I can order from anywhere close, within a few miles of where I'm at. And somebody else will go get it and bring it to me. Now, you got to pay for that privilege. But if you're at work, now I'm having lasagna or I'm having something else besides a burger. I pay for it, but I get a better deal.
Tim kills me. The only thing is Grab doesn't deliver extra gravy on demand.
On demand, yeah. Well, then Tim, just don't order the biscuit and gravy, okay?
Oh, it cracks me up. Yeah, so this phenomena it's going to happen here in the Philippines first because they're all set up for it. They're all set up for it. So I think that, but here's something else I thought about. Here's something else I thought about where the Philippines may not be so lucky in that where they would want the infrastructure in place if an event were to occur. Telephone lines.
Yeah.
So in the United States, we have telephone lines that are running everywhere.
Yep.
No such
Most
thing
of them are
exists here in the
underground now.
Philippines. Yeah, now underground. So here in the Philippines, they're using cell towers.
Right.
Well, I'm going to
All right, you get where I'm going with this? If any
Yeah.
event were to occur that would wipe those out, I'm not just talking EMP attack or anything like that. Just something that computer,
A typhoon
virus,
Typhoon go through there
or
and
Yeah.
knock down the
virus,
cell
yeah.
towers.
they hack them, something like that. We
think
could
it did that
revert
in
back in the
Syria,
States
About a year
to
ago?
landline.
Yeah, I use analog phones.
We could use analog phones in the States.
Yep.
See?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
they would be-
You save the gasoline, but like I said, for most people, I think it's the saving of time. At least here in the States, it's the
Yeah.
time you save
Yeah.
is why they have the food delivered. I would never have my food delivered when I'm not working. I just soon go get it, save the money. But if I'm at work and I don't like what they're having, I'll pay to have it delivered because I can't go get it myself.
Right.
You know, because I'm at a job that I can't just clock out, leave, and come back.
Well, somebody would have had to do the math on this thing that if you lose a certain percentage of customers because you can't service them quickly through the front door, you know, it's okay to accept that loss because we're making it on the back end.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there has to be some kind of financial benefit for folks like Jollibee and others
Yeah.
to bail on the customer on the counter end in order to get the profit on the grab end of it.
Yeah.
Now,
Nitband, there
Nitband,
still are
there
quite a
are
few
people.
analog.
I
analog
had a cell phone and a home phone up until just a few years ago. I had both,
Yep.
and my sister kept hers. Well, my sisters in Indiana have both, and matter of fact, my two sisters that my mom used to live with, they have both. I think my youngest sister has both. And my oldest sister had both for a while, and I think she just got rid of hers. There's a lot of people I know that have both. Now, they rarely use the analog phone except for local calls. That's
Right.
that's all they use it for. The cell phone is for long distance and when they're out running around. And like I said, the ones that got rid of it, usually because, well, too many how should I say, unwanted calls in on the landline. That's why my oldest sister got rid of hers. But my two sisters that my mom live with still have the same phone that they've had for, oh God, almost 40 years. No, longer than 40 years.
Yep.
They've had that phone now for that same phone number for almost 50 years.
Hey, we just hook up Nitband. It's not complicated. You'd hook up a couple of old soup cans
Yep.
to your telephone line. It's not complicated. You
Nope,
just turn
not
your
at all.
soup cans into an analog phone.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, but there are still a lot of analog phones out there.
Yeah.
There-
So there are a lot of similar things where we would have a heads up
a lot of
over
businesses have analog phones. A lot
yeah
of
over let's say countries that never did run hardwire utilities. I think
Yep.
South Africa is probably one.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, now where I work at, all the company phones are analog.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure
Yep.
some of the salespeople and some of the managers have cell phones that the company
Right.
gives them. I'm not talking about their own. But if you go,
We'd have to
any
go
place-
back to dial-up modem for internet connection.
Oh, God, no, please no,
No, please no.
please no. I tell you what, the thing I like, you mentioned it earlier where the lines are
We
underground.
wouldn't work on that.
I wanted to put all the lines underground, electrical lines, because you know how often we lose power because of ice storms here in the Northeast.
I'm
stuff
surprised
like
you
that.
don't have it that way up there, Larry.
Yeah,
They,
really.
A lot
they
of
don't
places
yet.
in
I
the
wish they
states they
would.
do.
I think they're going to it, but they haven't got there. But I mean,
Yeah, majority of the power lines are underground here.
they need to be. You're in Tornado Alley, buddy.
Yeah,
Tornadoes can, like I said, that's the Midwest. That's Oklahoma, Indiana, Illinois, all that, Missouri, all that area there,
yeah.
Kansas.
Well,
Now, like I said, up
we
here,
normally get
it's ice storms
hurricanes,
during the winter. A lot of times we'll knock out power.
right?
So I'd like to see all the electrical lines and uh, all the lines, period, whether it's cable or let's put it all underground where
Yeah,
it's, if
they're
it's going to get
working that way
destroyed, it's
here in
going to take.
here in
That's not going to
Houston area.
happen here.
Well, like I said, if it happens, I think it'll happen eventually.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
in
getting more
in
and
the
more all the
populous
time.
areas, I think it will.
All spaghetti.
But it may be another 10, 20, 30 years, but it'll happen. Uh, some progressive mayor, that's what will happen. Somebody like if you go to Iloilo, their mayor is very progressive. If you go there and look at what he's done for the city, how they keep it clean, that is a forward-thinking person. So it'll take somebody like that in one of the other cities to decide, hey, look, we've lost our lines so many times. It may take us a while, but let's start putting them underground where they're safer. Because he'll see, well, Europe does it, the United States
Hey,
does it.
you are. I'm getting a thought to share here after listening to you speak. Have you guys? I started wondering about how the above ground telephone poles now are also being underutilized. You ever think about that? I mean, they're not
they're
obviously.
No,
They
they're
make
taking
good
they're
fireworks.
taking a lot of them down.
Yeah, they're taking it. It's taking time though. It costs money to
Oh,
put
yeah.
put utilities underground, but I mean they're probably
Right.
underutilized in a lot of different areas. Here in the Philippines,
Yeah,
they're
they
not.
are.
Though.
No,
Same
Here in
thing
the
in Taiwan.
Philippines,
I've
they're
seen
not.
some that looked like they had 100 wires on them.
Across the street from my house, there's 3 or 4 all together. One's broke, other one's broken, another one's helping the other one, and like, what the
Oh, yeah.
world? You take out the old one and put a new one in.
Yeah, I don't even know how they could find whose line belongs to who.
Where are you at, Jack? Where are you,
Yeah.
Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Jack, where are you located at?
Bacolod City.
Where?
Bacolod City.
McCall?
Bacolod?
No, Bacolod City.
Bacolod City. Oh, okay. I occasionally chat with someone from over there.
Jack probably knows them.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
Hey, Yahoo! Filipina Raquel is in the house. Good morning.
hey, Raquel, how are you?
How are you feeling? Feeling better? Filipina Raquel got slammed with trolls like crazy in her live chat the other day.
Oh man, that's not good.
I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, where are these trolls coming from?
You know, there's been a big rash of them in several streams that I've been on.
Wow. They're just coming out of the woodwork. They're like cockroaches, eh?
Hey,
LV, they're like cockroaches, right, LV? LV, you gotta keep at it. You gotta grind it out. LV.
Did you see what Tim said?
And some of mine, people just like
Power lines will be
post, like,
all
porn
underground when
links
Keith
to, like,
Richards retires.
gold.
He's permanently pickled, but he's never retired. He got so much drugs and alcohol in him, he'll live
Yep.
forever.
Oh, you're still sick. Sorry to hear that.
Oh yes.
Sorry to hear that.
I hope you get well soon.
I got to tell you, I'll tell you, the weather is so bad. It's driving everybody inside, and anybody who's got AC is using it right now. It's so hot.
I've been hearing that.
Yeah,
Today
and
was a
so
Mine went
today was a gorgeous day. Only got up to about 81. Gorgeous day. And you're drinking, is that G0 or regular Gatorade?
regular Gatorade.
All
Yeah.
right.
That's not good for your diet.
I know.
But it's good for when it's hot and you're sweating a lot. It really is good for you.
I'm
It
worried
does
about
help.
not
It does
drinking
help
enough
with
water.
electrolytes. Yeah, it does
Yeah,
help with
electrolytes.
electrolytes.
But I could switch over to Buco juice, which would be good for the diet. I don't know why I'm not doing it. I'm gonna have
Oh,
Man
really?
Mini pick up coconut juice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll switch over.
I'm not
Thanks
sure.
for
Maybe
thanks for
sweet
reminding me,
here.
Leonard. Huh?
I'm not sure if you go to the store. Maybe sweetened here. I'm not sure.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
everything here is sweetened.
That's what I
yeah.
said.
Everything's
I
got
know you
sugar
can
in
They
it.
even
buy.
add, Larry, they even add sugar to milk.
Yeah. Like I
Yep.
said, though, you can buy it here in the States,
Yep.
but it
Yeah.
seems a little sweet, I think. And
There's no fresh milk we got in the U.S. Buy a
Nip
gallon
it.
of it. And it's
What's that?
refrigerated. All
Yeah.
the milk here is like in like cartons. I'm like,
sorry to hear that,
and it's not
Filipino Cal.
refrigerated.
Sitting on a shelf out in the regular store.
Mhm.
There's There is-
Filipino Raquel says her air conditioner's not working. It's warm air coming out, not cool.
oh, that's not
Hey,
good.
Retro, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good, Gay. How you doing?
Good,
Not
good.
too
How are
bad.
you?
Yo, retro.
I'm
Hey,
good.
Retro, welcome.
Thank you. Much
Thanks for
appreciated.
coming.
Much
Yeah.
obliged, my friend.
This is the first time I've seen Retro, so howdy.
How you
Yeah,
doing?
me also.
And,
Where you at?
Leonard, This is
He's on my
grape
channel a
juice
lot.
filled about here than the rest water, so it cuts down on the sugar a little bit for the glass. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you do that, if you continue to do that and just add a little more water every week, you'll pretty soon get off it. You won't need it.
I'm
Okay.
just I'm doing this instead of Coke, the Coke Zero. I'm thinking about after I go through what I have in grape juice, maybe getting the cranberry juice. I hear that's even better for you. But
When
I'll
you
still
get it,
mix it
though,
with water.
yeah, well,
Huh?
I was going to say, when you get it, check the label and make sure it doesn't have a bunch of sugar or dextrose or maltodextrin or any of those other.
Well, this one says no
Names.
sugar
Corn
added, but
syrup.
that don't mean they didn't add something else.
Yeah.
But
I'm currently drinking apple juice myself, and to answer your question, I'm from New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fantastic. Love New Hampshire.
I live in New York right now, but I'm originally from Indiana.
Yeah, I can tell, my friend. You got the accent.
Well, there's a couple words that I say now that will not belay me as a Hoosier. Most Hoosiers would say, "What are you saying?" See, in Indiana, when you say you're going to do your like your laundry, you don't say wash. You say wash. I'm going to do my wash.
yeah.
I got a washing machine, not a washing machine.
Yeah, well, the way,
It took me a long time to get that R out of those two words.
well,
Yeah,
the
I'll
way we,
bet.
well, the way we say that is we say, I'm going to go do the washing machine, And when we say color, we say crayons and Thursday,
Yeah, like I said, each section of the country has a little bit of its own
Yeah.
unique personality. We can understand
Wayne.
each other.
I
Yeah.
mean, look at me. I'm covered in Boston memorabilia, so.
The best thing about Boston. My favorite player ever played in Boston. I just gave you a hint of who it could be because, like I said, I am a Hoosier.
Well, I'm not
Larry
really
Bird.
Larry Bird.
Of course,
I'll
I
bet we can
cheated.
say
I
that.
already knew.
Larry
I already
Bird.
knew.
Now, my hometown is Terre Haute, Indiana, which is where Indiana State University's at, which is where Larry Bird played at.
Yeah.
But Larry Bird's my
Bird's
favorite
cool.
basketball player of all time.
Larry Bird's cool. He made an appearance in the Space Jam original movie. You know that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm a retro type of guy. I like retro stuff. I got a retro mug right here that I'm drinking apple juice out of.
Yeah.
Is a 1993 McDonald's refill mug.
Oh, fantastic. Beautiful.
Good
It
stuff.
cost me $20 out of my pocket on my prepaid debit card.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a
It,
big fan of the Boston, or New England, I should say, Patriots. They've knocked
Yeah.
my Colts out of the playoffs too many damn times.
Oh, poor
I have
guy.
to
I'm
respect
sorry.
them, but I don't have to like them.
Right.
Honestly, I don't judge. You know, I don't watch a lot of sports. I just like the Boston team.
Yeah.
Although I do have something that's cool. I have a flask that says "Bye, Felicia."
Well, I was in Boston last year, and I did a video on it.
What you do in Boston?
Well, went to the USS Constitution
Hmm.
and the museum and the ship. Went to Chinatown.
They have a
uh,
Chinatown in Boston. I
Oh
thought it
yeah,
was in New York.
there is not a large city in the United States
No.
anywhere that doesn't have a Chinatown. Let me tell you that right now.
Okay, thanks for the tip, my man.
You're gonna, and like I said, now we're talking large city. You're gonna now. Some cities got bigger Chinatowns than others.
Right.
Boston's is not that large, but it's big enough. Now it's not. New York has 2 or 3 Chinatowns.
Yeah.
Well,
Houston's got a pretty good size Chinatown.
Yeah. Chicago's got a Chinatown, a Vietnamese town, a Korean town. Chicago.
Yeah.
These are
Leonard.
all places I've been.
Yes.
Lennon,
think
might
there's
I
a
just
Chinatown
give you the
about
most
20 minutes
biggest
away from me.
compliment? You look like Willie Nelson, my friend.
Like Willie
A little
Nelson.
bit. I can see Willie Nelson with Leonard.
That's a first. I never heard that before.
I
You
can
look
see,
used
cool,
to-
man.
They
You
used
look
to
cool.
always
I can
tell
see a
me I
little
looked
bit.
like Phil Collins.
I was always told Ned Beatty.
Not gonna lie, Lazy Larry, I like your hat too. I got a cowboy hat somewhere in the closet.
Well, this was
Yeah.
my summer hat,
Yeah.
and then I've been having a bout with pre-skin cancer.
Oh,
So
boy,
now
I'm
it's
sorry.
just my indoor hat. I don't wear it outside anymore.
Not gonna lie, I got an Irish hat, one of those beret caps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Those are
Irish,
kinda
so
cool.
I have a flag over there. It's an Irish flag.
Well, I happen to be a mutt.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
a
a
mutt
ginger.
too.
Well, I got Scottish, Irish, French, Indian, German, English.
You know,
I'm not sure what else.
I once got a comment from someone on my channel. They say, Zach, I don't see Irish in you. You're like really calm, like a German person. Then look back. And I look back to my father's last name, Kronauer. I'm like, oh my god, that's a German name. So maybe I have some German in me. So
Probably so.
Like I
Yeah.
said,
They're real-
my dad's mother's maiden name was Bridgewater.
Bridgewater, okay.
All right. My dad's last name is Lee, so who the hell knows where that's from? My mom's mother's maiden name is Price, which is on the English side, but the Scottish, I believe, are.
I think it's English because there was a guy named Vincent Price that was like British or something.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah.
see, the Scottish a lot of times are considered British, but they're not. Sean Connery, sometimes they want to call him British, but he's not. He's Scottish.
Well, British is actually anybody in the UK.
Yeah.
It's not just English. So
Yeah,
he is English. He is British.
Yeah,
But-
By the way-
he's from Scotland.
Yes.
There's something you guys should know about me that Jack already knows. You know how my dad's Michael Kronauer. Guess who my great uncle is?
Oh,
What's that?
Adrian Kronauer from Good Morning Vietnam.
Okay.
oh yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
That's my
The
great
guy the
uncle.
movie was based on, yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
that's my great uncle. That's
You
why.
want to know?
Wow.
That's
Let me
why I
tell you a
got
little
into YouTube.
history on my family.
All right, go
My,
ahead.
my grandfather, mom's dad, his last name is Hanks. Supposedly related to Nancy Hanks, not direct descendant. Nancy Hanks, Abraham Lincoln's mother. All right. Now, my dad's side of the family, he's got a cousin whose last name is Booth, and they're related to John Wells Booth. So talk about family history.
Yeah,
That's like the Hatfields and the McCoys at that point. I
pretty
read that
much.
book.
But yeah, like I said, I'm supposed to be related, like a distant cousin. I mean, like I said, we're not direct descendants. But my grandfather's last name, his mother was a Hanks, and they're supposed to be related. Like I said, my understanding is distant. You know, it's not even. It'd be barely able to mention it. But it was
I mean,
still fascinating when I found out one of my dad's first cousins, maiden name was Booth,
oh my god,
and they were
that,
supposed to be related to John Wells.
that's
Yeah,
gotta be a shocker. Just like the guy on TV that's related to H.H. Holmes.
yeah,
You guys ever see that series where the guy gets interviewed about his distant relation to H.H. Holmes, Jack the Ripper? Oh god, I would be so upset if I found out that that was my great great grandfather.
Well, there's some dispute about who Jack the Ripper actually was,
Yeah,
and
there's dispute.
they have never
Proven.
officially said who it was. But probably the most promising one, and it might be that name. I don't know. I can't remember, but was
Yeah.
actually a royalty. He was
You gotta
one
be
of the
kidding me, royalty,
royal
huh?
family.
Oh, you gotta be
Now,
kidding me.
The only thing I know about the Jack the Ripper that he was gay.
I don't know.
What?
He killed prostitutes.
that could be out of frustration too.
Yeah,
But
Right.
anyway, you're talking about.
he just might have had ED. You know.
But when I was talking about my grandmother's maiden name being Price. Well, she's the one that was half Native American. My grandmother.
Hmm.
Now, the Price goes clear back to pre-Revolutionary War. He was a Scottishman. You know how the British used to, you know, you were of Scottish or Irish descent on a ship. They would just say they would conscript you into the military
Mm.
onto their ship. And that's what happened to him. And when they got to the States, he jumped ship. This is like I said before the Revolutionary War. Ran out into the country, out into the woods and native land. Ended up marrying a native girl and having kids, but he fought in the Revolutionary War. Uh, I didn't know any of this till a few years ago when my mom went to the reservation my grandmother was raised on, and her uncle Orange, who was her mom's brother, had passed away, and they had a get together down there in Philipot, West Virginia, and the reservation's right outside of that. And so my mom, her sister, a couple of her brothers went down there, and some cousins that were uh, Uncle Orange's kids and grandkids. They went down there and for the funeral and met with the family that was still living on the reservation.
Hmm.
I didn't go because I didn't have the vacation time to go.
Yeah.
But my mom and, like I said, my aunts and my uncles, they all went.
Yeah, I hear you. Not gonna lie, I don't know if I'm related to any Celts, but I remember when I lived on a farm in Farmington, I used to braid my hair, wear Celtic like clothing, and ride a horse. So
Like I
not
said,
like
I couldn't tell you what family or anything if they were kilt wearers, because like I said, that was a long time ago.
I think you guys are pretty cool. Not gonna lie, you're all chill, you're all mellow, which I like. Jack already knew that about, so right, Jack, Jackie boy.
Yep.
Jack's the quiet one of the bunch.
He, if there was just as a joke, if anyone would be like in a mystery story about who's the killer, it'd be Jack.
The
Well,
quiet one
they always
the
say
quiet
they
one
always tell
always
you
are the guilty
watch
ones.
the quiet one.
Still water runs
Yep.
deep, man. Still water runs
Yep.
deep.
Yep.
Not gonna lie, that's the thing about me. You get now. I gotta ask some questions, okay? anyone here when they were a kid or my age, because I know you guys are all older than me. I can tell. No offense. You all have deep voices that are deeper than mine.
Does the white goatee give it away?
Kind of. Some people are saying I'm growing gray hairs underneath my long hair.
When I grow a beard, I look like Santa Claus.
Yeah, I can see it. But anyway,
Oh, I do.
Anyway.
I've got pictures of me with a white beard. Yeah, I look like Santa Claus.
All he needs is a red suit.
honestly,
Yeah, maybe a little more hair on top. But
Well,
yeah,
you know, put on
the red cap, that'll
red
hide it.
cap. Yeah.
So in my family, we have this thing in my household, not only sarcasm and the gift of the gab as the Irish people are. We also have a thing in our household when we get super angry. We're very quiet to ourselves when we're angry because we're surrounded by people. And we get that kind of John Wick sort of moment where we're like, what weapon do I use and what exit do I take?
Yeah.
I hope I take him back to my father. When he got mad at mom or us kids, he'd go for a drive because he didn't want to stay around and say something that he would regret. So he'd just go out, get in the car, drive around until he cooled down, and then come back.
Oh, I wish I could do that with my bike, but my
Good
bike
for
got
him.
stolen.
Same with my dad.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that with my bike, but my bike got stolen, right, Jack?
Your bike got
Yep.
stolen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, my dad used to go for rides.
I live in the slums of New Hampshire, known as Rochester. We call it Rottenchester.
Oh, okay.
And I was at the food pantry. Now, may I remind you, I go there a lot. Guy starts talking to me about the bike, asked me where I got it and stuff because he thought it was his. He didn't say I stole it. He just wanted to know how I got it. So he eventually called the thing off and said, "Okay, you can have the bike. You've obviously had a long time." By the time we turned around, it was gone. Somebody else had taken it.
He probably set you up to distract you so the other guy could get it.
No, I saw the guy the next day walking the streets.
Oh, okay.
He's like, "Yo, I'm sorry about your bike, man." I said, "Don't worry about it. We'll catch you. I'm up file a complaint tomorrow."
You know, when I was in the Navy, 4 of us bought bicycles to ride. And 3 of the guys had their bikes stolen fairly quickly. So I sold mine because I bought mine to go riding with those guys. And a week after I sold mine was stolen. So this is on base, on Navy base. They were stealing bikes right off the. Which, if you steal on a military base like that, that's a federal offense. But yet they were still doing it.
I'll go lie. I have a Navy jacket over there that I bought from a store. It's a discontinued Navy jacket, like what do you call it?
Pico?
It's not Paycoat. It's like a leather jacket with the Navy on the back, kind of like a biker jacket.
It's a bomber jacket.
Yeah.
Kind of. I bought it from a thrift store because I wanted to honor my great grandfather, my grandpa who were in the Navy, as well as my father, Michael Cronar, who was in the Air Force.
My older brother and I both were
And,
Navy. My younger brother didn't go
like
in.
retro things.
My father was Army.
I'm sorry, Jack. Is there people in the chat commenting? Because I don't have the comments open, so hold on.
Just random things
Well, hold on. I'm working on it.
that some not translate over to StreamYard.
What? Are people giving what? What's all the lovey-dovey stuff? What's going on? I missed everything.
Well,
No.
in live streams, a lot of times there is a conversation inside the conversation.
Yeah, I
Yes.
hear that.
Yep.
A lot of
Sometimes
stuff
the
going
other-
on in the chat. That
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Well,
I'm not,
Dan will know that we did that in Chris and Sabu's chat. People would have conversations between themselves.
I
Yeah,
feel like
all the time.
I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like I've seen Dan before though. Before here, I feel like I've seen you before though.
he's
Hmm.
he's been around a few places.
Oh, so he's a drifter. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of am.
Danny boy, where you from?
Originally from Los Angeles.
City of Angels. Okay.
Yeah.
Where you living?
And
Now,
now we're here in
Just in the hood.
Cebu. We have a house in Bye Bye City Leyte, and I spent
Is that
good
nice?
portion of my life in Sacramento, California.
Gotcha.
Michael McFarland lives by you then. Southern
Oh, he's
Leyte.
in the Philippines.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Michael McFarlane.
Michael McFarland.
No.
You,
see, Dan should Retro should clarify that when he said City of Angels, City
City
of
of
Devils
Angels.
Angels.
Yep, that's the hood.
Los Angeles.
Man, I'll tell you, Los Angeles certainly has changed a lot since I grew up there.
Oh yeah,
There's a lot of
it's
gangs
changed.
there. There's a lot of gangs and violence there last time I checked.
Yeah. Well,
it's that way in a lot of the big cities.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I don't know of any big cities not that way. Not
I gotta
Chicago, Houston,
Yep.
I gotta tell
Los
you guys,
Angeles,
I miss
New York
my
City.
small. I miss two small towns I used to live in. Bassboro, Maine, I used to love a lot. It was a quiet town, nothing ever happened there. And then there's Farmington, a little mill town here in New Hampshire. I miss living there. There's things were in walking distance. You could go to Cumbies, which is a convenience store, get a Slurpee, nice good old Slurpee for $1 and some cents. The lottery tickets were usually good, and I made tons of money on the lottery tickets. And like it was a good town, and now it's kind of dead. So
Oh,
it used to be
yeah.
very lively, Farmington. And Farmington is basically an acronym for farm town, so farming town. So
Yeah.
and not gonna lie, I miss Farmington because it was a lovely town to live in. It was a lovely town to hang out in. The high school was great. There was no problems. It was just a lovely town.
The
Like,
only
there
thing
used
I
to be-
like about little cities or small towns is if they're close to big cities. I mean, I lived in Leroy, New York, which is it's a small town, maybe 10, 15,000 people,
Yeah,
but it was almost halfway between Rochester, New York, and Buffalo.
it's funny you say
So-
Rochester.
I had what I needed between Leroy and Batavia, which was halfway in between the two places.
Oh,
Batavia.
that's the other thing, lazy like that gets me. Like, someone asked me because of my accent and everything where I live. I said Rochester, like New York. I said, why are you thinking New York? And they're like, you got a New York accent. You said Rochester. I mean, no, Rochester, New Hampshire guy.
Retro, do you have a Dunkin' Donut close by?
Not literally in walking distance. You have to go down the little road thingy to get to downtown. I'm literally on a route road in a neighborhood, so
Hmm.
literally I have to ride my bike like 2 miles into downtown just to go to Dunks.
That's not too far.
At
Yeah,
that
that's not
point,
bad.
no offense, guys, but it's not even worth it because I got bad knees.
Oh.
Oh,
I have the start of arthritis. So I'm 24 and I already am getting
hi,
arthritis.
Mark. Well, the Slurpee thing caught my attention because I saw it for the first time in the Philippines. I saw a Slurpee machine in a
wow.
7-Eleven. Yeah, but it wasn't working. It wasn't working. So we'll have to get it up and running.
That's the funny part about every Slurpee machine in those places. They're usually broken.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Think of McDonald's. Their ice cream machine, their McFlurry
Oh,
machine,
they're always broken.
They're always broken. We haven't been able to get a chocolate ice cream sundae at McDonald's or Jollibee in at least a week. They
Oh,
say
is
the
the ice
machine's
cream
broke.
broken Jollibee too?
Yeah, they said the Taylor machine is broken.
I forgot.
Now I got a question, Dan. Is there any root beer,
Is
A&W root beers near where you live? Or where you
I think I saw not where we're at. I think I saw an A&W the last time was in Mall of Asia, I believe.
Okay. I used to work in the A&W when I was a kid.
By the
Yeah.
way, guys,
That was my
Right.
first job outside of paper routes and cutting grass, and it lasted all of 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
by the way,
I got
guys.
fired. What can I say? I
Cheers,
deserved
guys.
it.
Cheers.
Cheers. I got
Cheers.
mine.
What are you drinking, Lazy Larry? That's in a jar.
No, yeah, it's a glass jar mug. I'm drinking grape juice and water.
That's interesting. Oh yeah, I heard you
I-
guys talk about the cut down the sugar, like.
well, yeah, cut down on sugar. I'm diabetic, so I just put a little bit of grape juice in there. That I add water. I'm gonna put less grape juice in this next one because that's still a little sweeter than I want.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know, Lazy Larry, I like you guys, and I want to tell you something. Have you guys ever gone like yard sailing or free sailing or anything like that?
No,
No,
I haven't.
Well, I got the ultimate pickup that tops any one of my friends' pickups. I picked up, and Jack can vouch for me because he's seen it, a 2011 actual official Mars Candy display shelf from an actual convenience store, discontinued store. It's right over there. It's a
Cool.
discontinued candy display shelf from the store.
Really? What the heck?
Yeah, it's well, my neighbor who's moving was getting rid of it because it was sitting in his basement from the other guy. And he says, Zach, I got the perfect thing for you. Come across the street. I said, okay. I see this. And I'm like, yep, that's going in my YouTube studio.
Yep. It's a nice collectible.
Yeah.
I use it for my cereal boxes.
I have an original Dunkin' Donuts Munchkin dolly.
What's the Munchkin dolly again?
It's a Munchkin doll that they made. If you go on eBay, you'll see a little Munchkin doll.
Well, I have to Google that at some point. Well, I got my laptop right here, so give me a second. Okay, I gotta type my password in. I gotta mute myself because I have a tendency to mouth out my password, so I'm gonna mute myself.
Mute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, I don't have the Munchkin doll on me, guys. I don't carry the Munchkin doll around with me in my back pocket.
Okay, crisis averted.
we used to call her the Dunkin' Donuts dolly.
I don't have a Munchkin doll, but I have a Nar food restaurant item. This is a 2002 Burger King watch you used to hand at Burger King.
Oh man, that is
the clown.
yeah, that's
Here's the problem. I need to get a new clip. It broke off while
you're kind of reminding me retro of when we used to walk around. We used to take our pet rocks to school on a leash. Yeah,
No,
we used to
I
have this.
didn't.
Yeah, well, Dan did, and then we finally got called in we started this whole group, a whole pet rock group where during lunch breaks and recess, we used to take our pet rocks and put them on the leash and then walk them around the schoolyard.
Oh my God.
I remember when that was a trend, but like I said, that was more a West Coast to East Coast thing. Flyover country didn't buy into that, buddy.
Not gonna lie, Lazy Larry and Dan, we used to do pet rocks back in Vassar when I was a kid.
Yeah, we
Like I
didn't.
said, that's an East and West Coast thing. I'm from flyover country. We didn't do pet rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't either in Idaho.
I'm from
Oh,
Indiana.
you know what? I wonder if the Filipinos in the chat even know what a pet rock is. Who
Probably
can
not.
describe it? Who can describe the pet rock?
I'll tell you what a pet rock is. You go out and get a rock, do a little painting on it, put some of those wiggly eyes on it, and you got a pet rock.
Yep. You gotta put it in a box though.
What box? You're trapping the poor fella? Yeesh.
You gotta put it on a leash and you gotta name it.
Yeah, I'll name mine Rocky. Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. I'd like to introduce you to my pet rock. What's his name? Rocky.
I guess what his little rock buddy, the little tiny rock will be Buckets.
Oh no, you need
Or you can
Barney
use it as a weapon.
and Fred.
Wait, did
Barney
you say
Rubble
Barney?
and Fred Flintstone.
He just said Barney, and I look like that right here. Oh,
Hey, what about a virtual? Oh, that's great for the computer world. We could make a virtual pet rock.
Jack knows what I'm about to do.
Yep.
What is that, Retro? I can't see it. What is that?
Wait, you don't know the purple dinosaur legend?
Oh yeah.
Barney, the
Barney.
dinosaur. You said Barney, so I had to pull out my wild card.
I love you. You love me.
Well, do you have a can of Billy beer hanging around someplace, Retro?
Girlie,
No, I
how
don't
you
drink.
doing,
I
girlie?
don't drink. Otherwise,
Because I have a can of Billy beer, Billy
I like-
Carter beer. Does anybody remember that?
I
Yeah.
like butter.
Is
beer.
I never did try it. I heard it
is the
didn't taste
can
that good.
empty?
I just
I'm
had-
afraid it's full.
Oh, well, that's good. That means
I
you
had a-
haven't drank it.
I got a question.
I used to have a 7-Up bottle.
a 7-Up bottle. Okay.
Hold on, full. But on the bottle was ISU's record when they went 33-1.
I have no idea what this is. You're gonna
That
describe
was
it.
Larry Bird's last year at ISU.
Okay.
We lost in the championship game to Magic Johnson and Michigan State.
I got 2 Coca-Cola cups, a big giant straw cup of Coca-Cola, and a pub glass cup, plastic.
My brother went to
glass
Michigan
cup.
State.
Hey, speaking of Coca-Cola, man, Minnie and I, we were in the part of town. We walked over to Ayala Center Mall yesterday, and we went through a part of town. What was the name? Do you remember the name of it? Where we saw where I took a picture of the Coca-Cola sign, and the guy said, "Oh, that's old. That's old." There was a Coca-Cola sign and the RC Cola sign. Looked like they'd been there forever.
Oh my
Probably
god.
Yeah.
have.
Oh my god, a friend of mine on YouTube is talking to me about RC Cola. And he keeps saying, "Oh, we gotta try it. Here's the question. Do they even sell RC Cola anymore?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to
I
see
can-
'cause
I can still buy it down here in Houston.
I don't see
And
it up
personally,
here.
I liked it better than Coke.
I don't see
In the cans, that's all I ever see it in is the cans. When are they going to put it in a retro bottle?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Hey, I buy Coca-Cola in the retro bottle whenever I can afford it. That's for darn
It's
sure.
like the Mountain Dew, the throwback version where they use real sugar.
Oh yeah.
That was so much better than what you can buy now. It's not even funny.
Well, I think you got to go into Mexico to get the real sugar soft drinks nowadays.
Probably.
Once in a while,
No, actually, here in the Philippines, actually, they're still bottling Coca-Cola. I think using the old formula.
Actually,
I've seen it here in my area, Albany, New York area, where they've had Coca-Cola advertised with real sugar. You don't see it very often, and
No.
they're in a smaller bottle. And they're glass bottles. They're in a smaller glass bottle
Yeah.
when they do have it. But it's very seldom they have it.
Guys, I hit my 2-hour mark.
Well, congratulations.
So it's time to end the stream because guess where Dan is headed? Guess where Dan is headed this morning?
Bo's Coffee.
Dunkin' Donuts. Either that or
I'm
McDonald's.
headed over to Jollibee to be abused again.
Oh, man. No. This time,
Oh,
just
Yeah, just go to McDonald's.
I can't help it. No, I'm gonna go over to McDonald's because Crystals was saying or someone was saying Abby was saying that, they'll keep the menu the same until 10:30. So
Yeah.
remember,
No, I was going to say, go where you know you're going to get served quicker.
right, and then By the way, to finish out that story about the Jollibee, the manager wouldn't look me in the eye. The manager came over because I was making a fuss, and he was like, "Quick, get this man the food." Get this man his food really quickly. And so he put a couple of his crew members on it, and they got us our food once I started to complain. But never once did and I understand this is part of Filipino culture. Never once would he look me in the eye. Never once, because he realized that, oh man, this system. Yeah, I could just imagine what he was thinking. Oh man, this system sucks. You know, this whole grab.
You're gonna do the grab delivery experiment.
Yeah, yeah. You know, having them fix the grab food first and let the customers in the front door wait. It is a horrible, horrible system. All right.
That really is bad.
All right, so we'll see you guys in the next live. Larry, oh wait, we have to choose a winner for the 100 pesos for coffee and donut with Dan that I'll send to your GCash account. I believe today's winner. Who should the winner be today? Anybody have a guess?
I just got here, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't been here long enough to really.
Jack, you're frozen. You froze, Jack.
He's grimacing.
He's moving now.
did you just say Grimace?
How about ABCM?
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Sounds good.
ABCM, if I don't have your GCash number, PM me, and I'll send off that 100 peso gift so you can enjoy a donut and coffee with Dan. And I wish I could be there with you, but I can't. Or maybe I can if you're in the Philippines. Maybe I can. Maybe I'm just in Cebu and Lahug, so I'm headed over to the McDonald's. You can find me right there in downtown Lahug. Right there where all the streets go this way and that way to IT Park and all that. Everybody, go ahead, Larry.
All right, everybody. Remember, now be nice to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. And hope to see you tomorrow in my live stream. Take care, everybody.
All right,
Bye.
Larry.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Retro, I appreciate it. We had a lot of fun. Everybody in the chat, we'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Thanks for your time.
May the red
Bye, everybody.